This morning we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 9, entitled The Appearance of the Demon Vrikashura, text number 22. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Avishmitam tam paripurna kamam. Avishmitam tam paripurna kamam. Shenaiva labhena samam prashantam. Shenaiva labhena samam prashantam. Inopashapatya param hi balashan. Inopashapatya param hi balashan. Svalangulena tititarti sindhum. Svalangulena tititarti sindhum. Avishmitam tam paripurna kamam. Svenaiva labhena samam prashantam. Vinopashapatya param hi balashan. Svalangulena tititarti sindhum. Avishmitam tam paripurna kamam. Svenaiva labhena samam prashantam. Vinopasharpatya param hi balashan. Svalangulena tititarti sindhum. Adi. Avishmitam, who is never struck with wonder. Tam, him. Paripurna kamam, who is fully satisfied. Svena, by his own. Eva, indeed. Labhena, achievements. Samam, equipoised. Prashantam, very steady. Vina, without. Upasharpati, approaches. Aparam, another. He, indeed. Balisha, a fool. Shva, of a dog. Langulena, by the tail. Atitarti, wants to cross. Sindhum, the sea. Translation: freed from all material conception of existence and never wonder-struck by anything, the Lord is always jubilant and fully satisfied by his own spiritual perfection. He has no material designations, and therefore he is steady and unattached. That Supreme Personality of Godhead is the only shelter for everyone. Anyone desiring to be protected by others is certainly a great fool who desires to cross the sea by holding the tail of a dog. Please repeat. Freed from all material conceptions of existence and never wonder-struck by anything, the Lord is always jubilant and fully satisfied by his own spiritual perfection. He has no material designations, and therefore he is steady and unattached. That Supreme Personality of Godhead is the only shelter of everyone. Anyone desiring to be protected by others is certainly a great fool who desires to cross the sea by holding the tail of a dog. A dog can swim in the water, but if a dog dives in the ocean and someone wants to cross the ocean by holding the dog's tail, he is certainly fool number one. A dog cannot cross the ocean, nor can a person cross the ocean by catching a dog's tail. Similarly, one who desires to cross the ocean of nations should not seek shelter of any demigod or anyone else but the fearless shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:14-58 therefore says, Samasritaye parapalava plavam mahat param punya yaso mure abham bhure vatsa param param padam 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 yati param le natisham. The Lord's lotus feet are an indescribable boat, and if one takes shelter of that boat, he can easily cross the ocean of nations. Consequently, there are no dangers for a devotee. Although he lives in this material world, which is full of dangers at every step, one should seek the shelter of the All-Powerful instead of trying to be protected by one's own concocted ideas. And the purport. Om Jnanam Tinandasha Jnanan Jnanan Salakaya Chakshurmitam Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnudaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vacharine Nevishesha Shandavari Pasarisatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Translation again. Free from all material conceptions of existence and never wonder-struck by anything, the Lord is always jubilant and fully satisfied in his own spiritual perfection. He has no material designations, and therefore he is steady and unattached. That Supreme Personality of Godhead is the only shelter of everyone. Anyone desiring to be protected by others is certainly a great fool who desires to cross the sea by holding the tail of a dog. Here the demigods, headed by Lord Indra, are praying to the Lord because they're in imminent danger of being destroyed by the great demon Vrita. Demon was produced by Twasta, the father of Vishwarup, who Indra killed, even though he's a Brahmana, because he was favoring the demigods, and he was the Prohit, the priest, and he was offering some obeisances as well as offering to the demigods. He was offering to the demons because he was related to them. So Indra became very afraid and angry and immediately cut off his head. So then his father, a very powerful sage, Prajapati, Twasta, so he created this demon, Vrita, giant demon. And then the demigods attacked this demon, and he just opened his mouth and swallowed all their weapons. So they thought, oh, we're in trouble. We can't match this. So then they began to pray to the Lord in the heart. They didn't go to the Milky Ocean, like sometimes they did. They began to pray. And this is some of the prayers. And there will be a lot more in this chapter. How to pray to the Lord, how to understand the Lord. So the descriptions of the Lord, many descriptions of the Lord, probably most of them we hear, are given in prayers by the Lord's devotees. So here he's saying that the Lord is free of all material conceptions of life. It means he's not bewildered. He's never wonderstruck by anything. Nothing can surprise him like it cannot. We can expect anything at any time. As mentioned here, padam padam ya vipadam. There's always some danger, always something that comes up in our life, right? Generally. Problems. We get at least 3 or 4 problems a day on the internet. Lord Nrsingadev gets an email, please help us. Please pray to Nrsingadev for this, for that. All kind unexpected things happen in the material world. But Krishna, nothing phases him, the Lord, because he's not. He says because he's free from any material designation. He's completely unattached. He's steady. He's unattached. He has no material designation. Because of our attachment, our material designation, then we have problems, then we have fear of achieving. We have a designation. We've designated ourselves, which you could translate as the false ego. We have this designation. We've designated ourselves as a man, as a woman, as a student, and I will go to university and I will get a lot of letters after my name, and I will show that paper and I will get a very good position and I will be very respected and get a lot of money and I will be very happy and satisfied. Thinking like that. So these designations to work for. we also have designations. We want to become a pure devotee of Krishna and able to cross the ocean of material desires and not be affected by lust, greed, anger, envy, and all those different desires that we have. So everyone has all the conditioned souls. You must have some designation. You can't be nothing, you see. You cannot. You have to desire. You cannot live without desire. Life means desire. Without desire, there is no life. So what will you desire? This is the actual question you should ask yourself. You cannot live without desire. So what is the best desire to have? So that is the that is the best desire, to become a pure devotee of the Lord. Otherwise we're going to be a devotee of something else, right? We're going to be devoted to our dream. We're going to be devoted to our future, the goal of whatever we want. There must be some devotion there, so faith and devotion there that will stick to it and practice it. Krishna doesn't need that. He's Atmarama. He's self-satisfied. He is always jubilant, and is always fully satisfied by his own spiritual perfection. Would you like that? You'd like that, yeah? Be satisfied by your own spiritual perfection. What a relief. You have nothing to desire. Fully satisfied by his own spiritual perfection. So that is why we're looking for spiritual perfection, so that we can be satisfied. This is the reason that pious people, become religious. That's why they turn to God, so they can be fully satisfied. Krishna says there's 4 kinds of pious people. They come to me. They all have their own self-interest, but still they come into Krishna. He considers them pious. But each one is looking for his own interest. Of course, the wise man, he's transcendental. The wise man is the best. He's going to Krishna because he knows that he's a part and parcel of Krishna. And he's an eternal servant of Krishna, and he should be doing that. So he's going out of a sense of duty. But none of them are actually going for Krishna's pleasure, you see. Everyone is going for their own satisfaction. So that's the situation of the jiva in the material world. It's self-interested, egocentric. But unfortunately that ego is false ego, ahankara. Egocentric is okay if it's real ego. Jiva Sarupoi Neti Krishna Das. I'm the eternal servant of Krishna. That's the actual real ego. So nothing wrong with ego. False ego is a problem, but real ego is not a problem. You identify yourself as the eternal servant of Krishna. When we wake up in the morning, we immediately chant Hare Krishna. Krishna, engage me in your service. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale, Srimati Guru Deva, Swami Niti Nami, whatever. You're immediately stating that you're a servant, a disciple. You do that in the morning, right? You get up, pay your business. So as soon as you get up in the morning, you're fixed on the actual reality and the purpose of existence, understanding your actual position as a servant. If you're not a servant, then your position is insignificant. You have no actual standing. There's no position other than servant in the material world. That's the only reality. Everything else is temporary. But we're the eternal servants of Krishna. That is reality. So that should be understood. That is what we're working on, that we're the eternal servants of Krishna. And one day we'll become so pure that we'll actually we'll be praying and performing devotional service for Krishna's benefit and not our own benefit. That is a great effect of devotional service, beginning with hearing and chanting and remembering. So here, all the different prayers that are going to be offered to the Lord, they're the standard prayers. So we know what kind of prayers to offer to the Lord, because these are the devotees, the demigods are praying. And they're praying to the Lord, and the Lord will appear to them. He actually appears before their very eyes. And then they're feeling great love for the Lord and great happiness seeing His transcendental form. Who is always equipoised and never wonderstruck. No? You ever imagine what it's like to be transcendental to material nature, to walk about a free person without any inhibitions? You ever think about that? That's your actual position in the spiritual world. There is no inhibitions. There's no fear, because they have nothing to lose, because they have surrendered to Krishna, and they know that He is the shelter. He is infallible shelter. Just like the boys in Vrindavan, they entered into the mouth of Aghasura. They said, "He looks like a big demon, big serpent, waiting to swallow us up." Anyway, who cares? Krishna's here. So they had no fear for their own life. And here's a contradiction. He says he's never wonderstruck by anything, but we see in that Leela, Krishna was struck with wonder when he saw the boys go inside. When he saw that big demon, he was struck with wonder. How, according to the different acharyas, they'll say how he was struck with wonder. How wonderful is this energy of mind? Desire of these living entities made this huge serpent. How wonderfully this energy of mind acts. Or even sometimes it's said that even how wonderful this spiritual energy, Yogamaya, acts. Icha Shakti. So he appears to, but he's not actually wonderstruck like we would be wonderstruck with fear and awe. He's just saying how wonderful my energies are. Because these energies have also personality. Right? Icha Shakti. His desire is everything from the Lord emanates from Him, is also perfectly complete or equipped as an individual unit. So it's like we are part of Krishna. Yeah? We're little Krishnas. Krishna's one, He expands into many, so we're nothing but Krishna, right? This is the Mayavadi philosophy also. Only they don't divide. It's just we're Krishna. We become separated. We've forgotten. But the fact is, we're part of Krishna, spark of Krishna. But due to His desire and our infinitesimal size, tiny size, then we're prone to become bewildered. So why does He do that? Why does He expand for pleasure? For His pleasure. increase the pleasure, the greater the number, then the more variety, more pleasure. He so then to reciprocate with his devotees, that's his main thing. But that's going on perfectly well in all the spiritual worlds. The material world, to add a little flavor to the material worlds, Krishna, there's two types of living entities, those that are favorable and those that are not so favorable. The Asuras and the Devas. Krishna, they're created like that. Two types of people. So that gives the material world a little special rasa. Keep everyone busy, keep everyone on their toes, because they're always opposed to each other. So Krishna was surprised. Also but that is his leela. He also surprised when? Who was it? Salva? Magician. He was having a fight with Krishna, and he had that spacecraft. Used to be invisible, magic ship. Used to fly in the sky, become invisible. He had all these mystic powers. And then he could disappear, so Krishna couldn't smash him. And then he disappeared. Then a messenger came running to Krishna. Krishna had just got this message from where he was, Hastinapur. Your father has been captured, taken away. And Krishna thinks, how's that possible? Balaram's guarding there. And then Salva manifests himself again. Hey Krishna, here's your father, here I've got him, Vasudeva, look, here's your father. What are you going to do now? Watch now as I cut off his head. Cuts off his head. It's a magic illusion, like they conjure it. And Krishna becomes stunned, it catches his breath. Again, apparently he's bewildered by it, but how can Krishna be bewildered? But then it is said, no, he's out of affection for his Vasudeva, his father, just by, even though it's not true, even though he knows it's an illusion, that this person could never, someone like even the demigods, they couldn't even beat Balaram. So what to speak of this insignificant Salva. But still he's showing his affection for his father, because it was a picture, it was apparently looked real. So that because he loves his father, he loves Vasudeva, and then he sees, naturally, even though it's just like we go to a movie, and we know it's not real, right? Sometimes we cry, or, it's not real, what am I doing? But it's just that attachment and love for his devotees that he displays sometimes his human traits. And the demigods are praying like that. We don't know you later on. We can't understand you at all, how you act. Very difficult to understand you. As Krishna says, one who understands the nature of my appearance, birth and activities, they're not born again. So it's not easy. That means if you understand Krishna's appearance and his activities, then you don't take birth again. That's all. So here we're going to hear about his appearance, his activities. They can have all kinds of prayers, how he's the supreme controller when he comes, and how he protects his devotees. He appears in different incarnations, right, to annihilate the miscreants, to kill the demons and protect the devotees. You appear as Nrsimha, Vaman and Vraha, Lord. You know our hearts. We're also your devotees. You also incarnate, please, and save us from this terrible Vrita. He's about to devour us. And they explain so many things. And then about the pure devotees. And then Krishna, when he speaks, then he actually appears there. Then Krishna speaks and says, "Yes, very, very wonderful what you are doing." It's always recommended that you're glorifying me. That is the way. By glorifying me, this is a way for one to become liberated. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, that is the best processes. So it's very good you're doing that. And he agrees. Then Krishna starts to, as usual, in many instances, he starts to glorify the pure devotee. But my pure devotees, they don't ask me for anything. So in other words, he's very expert speaker, Krishna. He doesn't actually say, you're fools. I'm here in person, the Lord. And you're asking me to kill this demon. And you're not asking me to go back to Godhead or pure devotion. He doesn't say that directly, but he infers it and starts to glorify his devotees. They know anyway. They're already glorifying these people. They know the whole picture, the demigods. So Krishna says, okay, I'm satisfied with your prayers, you're my devotee, and I'll offer you a benediction. You have a problem with this Vrita? Okay, you go to the Dadichi, great sage. He's very powerful. He gave this Narayan Kavach, he gave this mantra shield to Twister, who gave it to his son, who gave it to you. That same person. His body is very strong, he's very powerful. You ask him for his body. And then Vishwakarma, from the bones of his body, will make a thunderbolt weapon. And I will also invest my powers in that. You'll be undefeatable. He'll give you the body, don't worry. He's a very liberal person. He's a very broad-minded person. So, this is what they get. He said, then you can take back your kingdom and you can flourish and you can rule again. Happy. So they say, thank you very much. Pahimam, Pahimam. And then they go back to being there until the next problem comes along, you see. So Bhagavatam is full of this kind of narration. So we can understand in these prayers and these direct encounters with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which are very, very rare. You won't find in any other scripture, practically, outside of the Vedic literature. You never find that God is talking. In other scripture, there's no description of God. Nobody knows who God is, actually. Therefore, they say God has no face, or God cannot be known. If he can be known, he would have made himself known. But what about the Bhagavatam? No, that's mythology. So you can't argue with these people. But in any case, this is the greatest process. What are we doing now? We're hearing about the glorious qualities of the Lord and his devotees. This is the medicine. This is actually purifying. We're talking about Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nothing to do with this material existence. This is not karma. We're directly contacting the spiritual world, because Krishna is the spiritual world. If one is attentive, absorbed, and not thinking of other things, then this is a liberated platform. Hearing about Krishna, it's not karma. There's no karma there, you see. And there's many, many, many chapters just like this, right? Glorifying the Lord, and then his pure devotees, and then the Lord directly speaks. The Lord always glorifies his devotees, his pure devotees. Nearly always. So that's Krishna. A very nice person. They glorify him, he glorifies his devotee. It doesn't, not like, the top of the road, the top of the pile, that's God. He has no one to glorify. No, he likes to glorify his devotees. He likes to serve his devotees. Please take a benediction. He asks the devotee many times, please take a benediction. Lord, I don't want anything. I know you don't want anything, you're my pure devotee. I want to give you something. Please take something. It make me happy if you take something. Please. It's to make me happy, but I want to give you something. So he's a real person. It's a real friend, you see. He actually gets pleasure in serving his devotees. It's not like, no, he's transcendental, indifferent to everything, Atmarama, fully self-satisfied. He doesn't need anyone. He is that. He is that, but still he's a person. So he has his mind. He has his own desires. And this is how he behaves in different forms. Then he behaves differently as he takes his different incarnations in accordance with the different devotees' desires. And all those devotees are perfect, but according to their desire to serve the Lord, then the Lord appears in a form just suitable for them. And that's perfection for them. So that any form of the Lord, any devotee of the Lord who serves him with love, and the Lord reciprocates, that's the ultimate perfection. But still if you look at it, if you make a study, there's higher and lower, or more intimate and more intimate. So like the devotees of Krishna are considered the best. But you can't say that to all the other great devotees of the Lord who don't worship directly Krishna in Vrindavan. Because they're all perfect, right? Those who worship Ramchandra, they're perfect. Those who worship the Lord of Vaikuntha, they're perfect also. But because Krishna is the most perfect, form of the Lord, is the most complete form of the Lord with all qualities. So in this way they said then the devotees of Krishna are the most perfect. Only because of that. Because Krishna is actually the most perfect. He has more qualities and displays more qualities than all of the other avatars. Otherwise he'll deal with his devotees exactly how they, according to their relationship with him. So we're hearing a story. This is how it's given in Kali Yuga. The people are not very smart. Our brains are not very good. We can't understand or digest Vedanta Sutra. Forget the Vedas. So then you get the same thing in story form. So here's an exciting story, a battle, big battle. Star Wars battle going to take place. Then we hear all this. We get all this in between, within the story. We're getting, what are we getting? There's Shravanam Kirtanam. So then you're directly associating with the Lord through the Bhagavatam, because the Lord is not different from his name, from his qualities, from his pastimes, from his paraphernalia, from his pure devotees. So you're directly contacting the essence of the spiritual energy in Bhagavatam. How quickly we appreciate that, or how much effect it has on us, depends on our desires and our sukriti, or our samskars. It can penetrate that much according to how much we're free from the material coverings. But in any case, this is the effect. So we hear about the Lord's pastimes. We hear how wonderful he is. We hear how wonderful his devotees are, and we hear the process of devotional service, what is most favorable, how to evoke the Lord's mercy. And not only that, by hearing with the purports, then we get to associate with the acharyas. We get to associate with the pure unalloyed devotees, like Srila Prabhupada, and the other acharyas, which are we hear in their commentaries, which are also absolute. So Prabhupada said, when you study Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar Devotion, he said you are directly associating with Srila Rupa Goswami. So same thing. If you're hearing Srila Prabhupada's purports, you are directly associating with Srila Prabhupada. There's no difference. Because they're not speaking about anything material here. It's all absolute. We may not be able to appreciate very rapidly So it's generally said that devotional bhakti yoga is a gradual process. Because we're so dull, it takes a long time for the effect or the feeling to be understood. But the fact is, it is Krishna we're dealing with. It is the supreme absolute truth we're dealing with. It's here right now in the form of sound. We can't appreciate that because we can't appreciate how sound, the form and the sound are the same. We don't. It's beyond our experience. When those that are qualified, they can appreciate that. Then they will hear about the Lord. They will actually experience the Lord, and then they will feel that ecstatic bhava for the Lord, because it's actually non-different. They're qualified, pure devotees. So there you get both of those things. So now they're gonna glorify him. Yeah, you're the source of all incarnations. You come to protect your devotees. We your devotees, please send us, protect us. And so the Lord fulfills their desire. But they didn't ask for pure bhakti, unfortunately. So they will stay in the material world until for a long time, because that's what they want. This is what they're desiring, you see. So that's what they achieve. What do you desire? What do you do? Everything you do, there must be some effect. Everything you desire, there must be some effect. Everything. So this is what they want. So therefore they're not in the category of pure unalloyed devotees. But we will see that Vritta, he's going to put them to shame. Even though he's an asura, he's actually a pure devotee. He's born from the asura. Well, he's a demon. But he will actually we'll hear about the glories of Vritta, which he said this 6th canto is very wonderful because of this pastime of Vritta Asura. See, he actually speaks about pure devotion and points out to Indra his actual deficiencies, which is to his great embarrassment. Anyway, he goes, the show goes on, life goes on, and the people, they get what they want, they go to Krishna and they carry on. This is how the varieties are there for anyone, for whatever level of consciousness one is on, from being completely self-interested, being a pure unalloyed devotee. There's a place for you to connect with Krishna. There's a relationship to connect with Krishna. So that's what Bhagavatam is explaining, all these different levels of devotion, different levels of devotees right here, so we can get inspiration from them and catch on what is we think is good for us, and then aspire for that which are beyond us. Those devotees, we're not that category, but they're our Prabhus, they're our heroes. That's our goal. We can aspire for that. But in the meantime, we'll perform our devotion on this platform. So these are all the wonderful side effects of this narration, this history of the of Bharatvarsha. That the side effect the side effect of this is the same as we practice in our sadhana. It's Shravanam, Kirtanam. And from that will come Smaranam. And from these activities, and all the undesirable things will go away. That's their potency. Maya cannot stand before the Lord. So as much as we put the Lord there, to that degree, Maya cannot stand it. Anarthas will not stand there. So this is the package of bhakti, Vaidhisarana bhakti. Jai Shima Bhagavatam ki jai, Sarvopadi ki jai, Jai Gopavanandi. It's over time. If you want to ask any questions, you may. Otherwise, please go. Never fail to have a question.
My question is that we see that while the fighting is going between Indra and Vritasura, Vritasura is a pure devotee, Indra is a mixed devotee. But Lord is taking part of Indra instead of Vritasura. Why?
Instead of?
Vritasura. Vritasura is a pure devotee.
Twasta?
No, Vritasura. Vritasura.
Yeah.
So Lord is taking, Vritasura is a pure devotee, Indra is mixed devotee. While fighting is going on between them, Lord is taking part of Indra, not Vritasura. Why?
We cannot understand you at all. The demigods cannot understand him at all. And we human beings cannot understand him at all. It's probably half a dozen reasons. Krishna knows what he's doing. He said, don't worry. Don't worry about this demon killing you. He said he's not an envious person. You'll be able to kill him easy. He's not an envious person. He's a devotee, pure devotee. That Vritasura, previous birth, anyways, it's time for him. He's going to go back to Godhead. So that's Krishna's favor, because no one can kill him. He's so powerful. So that's Krishna's kindness on him, that he goes back quicker. If Krishna assists, gives a weapon that can kill him. Krishna doesn't want him to want that separation too long. You should come back quick. So then he gives a weapon to injure. Yeah, this who can say why he acts like he does? Only Gita Nagari can tell us. Oh. You have a mic there? Please.
It's very far out because this section of the Bhagavatam is called Poshanan. It's the section of the Bhagavatam that demonstrates the Lord's protection of his devotees. You get Ajamil first, and it's interesting to see how the Lord's protection of the devotees plays out in different circumstances. Because it doesn't look like Vritasura is getting protected. He's going to lose the battle. And he's very enthusiastic to lose the battle. Mm-hmm. So from our pathetic material conceptions, it looks like Vritasura is the loser and Indra's the winner. Mm-hmm. But it's just the opposite. And at the same time, Vritasura is getting all of his desires to be fulfilled because he just wants to go back to Godhead. He's finished with the material world. And Indra is getting all of his desires fulfilled because he just wants to continue to be the king of heaven. Mm. So he's protecting devotees in different ways, and depending on the desire and the advancement of the devotee. So it's kind of like far out to watch it, to see like who's getting what and why they're getting what they're getting. Why is Indra getting this? Why is Vritasura getting this? And the whole play. And then you realize that Krishna is quite wonderful. So it's
okay.
Like that. Okay, I hope that was...
So nobody knows when, where, why, or how the Lord will appear. When he will appear, how he will appear, for what purpose he will appear, no one can say. He's a person. He has a mind of his own. How would you do it? You ever ask that question? How would you do it? What would you have done in that circumstance? if you had all the potencies of God, what would you have done? If you were God for 5 minutes, what would you have done? No, you wouldn't. You're not as smart as God. So he's good. This is how he acts. He does it like that. If you were God, you may have done it different. So we think, why would he do it like that? It doesn't fit in my paradigm. No, you can't understand what, God, he knows 100 lifetimes ago, he knows 100 lifetimes forward. So you can, it's just play for him. We can never understand these things. If you know past, present and future, you can have a clearer idea. But we don't. So, but you can understand it's always for the best. As Gita Nagari said, Indra was satisfied, he got exactly what he wanted. Vritrasura was satisfied, he got exactly what he wanted. He went back to Godhead. Who's the best? Indra's still here. Vritra's back at Godhead, he's finished. Who won? Who got the best result? Mike.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, speak into it.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, in the lecture you mentioned that...
Speak louder.
In the lecture you mentioned that the demigods, they were seeking this favor that they should get this potency to kill the Vritrasura. So actually when we look at our own devotional practice, sometimes we might get some difficulties or problems, which can be some health problems or which can be some other unexpected difficulties that affect our devotional service. So, but then we are told to pray only for pure devotional service. So in this case, because we are not at that position where we can actually aspire for pure devotional service, but what should we do? Should we pray to the Lord that this material problem which is affecting us, say health or something, that He should sort this problem for us, or we should still keep quiet and then pray for pure devotional service? What we should do, because we are asked to do that. Like suppose you mentioned in the beginning of your lecture that every day you get 2-3 mails for Lord Nrsimhadev puja, like this problem is there. So what do you recommend to us, like at least we who are in neophyte stage, what should we do when there's a difficulty, like the demigods, we have some difficulty, what we should do?
Well, in the neophyte stage, you don't have much choice. You need help, right? So what are you going to do? You're going to go, if you don't pray to the Lord, you're going to go and pray to the doctor, or the lawyer, or your friend, right? You're going to go somewhere. You won't just tolerate that. So then, there's no harm. And Krishna doesn't mind. Krishna doesn't mind. He likes to serve his devotees, pure devotees, that is. So it's not a problem to ask the Lord to remove our problems. The bridge buses did. Everything they did only was for Krishna's pleasure, but when there's a fire, Krishna, help us, save us. When there's danger, Krishna. They're dependent on Krishna. It's not a problem. Better to pray to Krishna than try to resolve it yourself. Because now you're connected with Krishna, you see. If you're resolving yourself and you're not remembering Krishna, then there's not much benefit there. But if you're praying to Krishna to resolve the problem, there's great benefit. Spiritual benefit, real benefit. Of course, Prabhupada said when you're sick, you take medicine and you depend on Krishna. You take medicine, you endeavor, but you depend on Krishna. Your understanding the result is dependent on Him. That's what you do while in a conditioned state. They're self-realized. The Abadu, those stories, they don't do anything. They just understand I'm not going to suffer any more than I'm supposed to. I'm not going to enjoy any more than I'm supposed to. What's the point? But then they don't endeavor for anything. They're Atmarama, they're self-realized, self-satisfied, you see. But until that stage is not a problem. You've got to remember the Lord in all circumstances. So that's the main thing. The pure unalloyed devotees, they don't have to ask the Lord for anything. The definition of a pure unalloyed devotee is that they're self-satisfied. But why should they ask for anything? They already have Krishna. They already have everything. If you got Krishna, what else do you need? So it's a catch-22 there, you see. The pure devotees never ask. The pure devotees don't ask. They have everything. They don't need anything. They've got Krishna. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Guruji, you mentioned in the class that we should do our devotional service not for our benefit, but for the pleasure of the Lord. But in the back of mind, we always feel that why we are trying to please Lord is because after pleasing Lord, we will be getting the benefit of it.
Get the what?
We will be happy by pleasing Lord. By making Lord happy, that's the only way we will be happy. So we think that we are doing it for the self-benefit.
Well, that's the fact of life. You are doing it. We are doing it for ourselves, right? Is anyone's? What are you chanting Hare Krishna for? What do you come to Mayapur for? Some benefit, right? Better situation, right? So whose pleasure is it? Well, the goal is for Krishna's happiness or my benefit. Now, this is what you're dealing with. We're self-centered creatures. This is what it means by conditioned soul. We wouldn't be in a material world if we didn't have this consciousness. So now you have to, in the beginning we dovetail that with Krishna service. That's karma yoga. That's in the beginning you do like that. And that's okay. Krishna, that you've got to do like that. There's no option. You can't just suddenly switch. 90 degrees or 365. You can't just switch around and just on hearing, I'm the eternal servant of Krishna, I'm the spirit soul, I'm not this body, this material existence is all Maya, I'm the eternal servant of the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, I'm his soul, and you can't just switch like that and start going that way. It doesn't work. No, you're attached. We have our designations, we have our addictions. We are this body, right? When you get up in the morning, you're the body, right? When you wake up in the morning, you're the body, it's for sure. You got to go to the bathroom, you got to get out, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to take breakfast, so many things you have to do. Why? So that's our consciousness. So naturally we're concerned for that. So this has to be purified. The senses have to be purified, the mind has to be purified, intelligence has to be purified, and the consciousness has to be purified. If bhakti is a package deal, it all gets purified simultaneously. But because bhakti is a direct process, so we wake up in the morning and say, Hare Krishna. I'm the eternal servant of Krishna. We start from the false ego. Whereas these other processes like karma, yoga, jnana, they start from the bottom. You purify the base, gross senses first, especially the Astanga yoga. Then, atitha, you withdraw the senses from the sense objects and gradually control the mind, move it up on the life areas like that. But here, You start from the top and the bottom. Hare Krishna, when you say Hare Krishna, that's liberation. That's not karma. That's perfection. But we don't experience it because of we don't have that adhikar. But that will purify us. Then again, the activities of bhakti in our line, it's generally all in a mode of goodness. So the lifestyle will be in a mode of goodness. So quickly you're going to become free by your own endeavor, by your own lifestyle, free of Raja and Tama, because of our association, because of our work, and because of our thoughts and deeds and activities. So it's an all-round process. We engage in our senses in the service of the Lord, and we engage in our intellect in the service of the Lord, and our ego in the service of the Lord. We don't wait for that purification. Purification is a byproduct of bhakti. But like in the beginning, you have no choice. We are this body, we are self-interested, we're not comfortable, we're not happy in the material world. We're not experiencing Ananda, we're not experiencing Sat, which is our true nature. So you can't stop that striving to achieve those two things. You can't stop that. You want satisfaction. You're not feeling, everyone is feeling incomplete. The soul is Satchidananda. Subconscious, we're looking for that. Not only subconscious, we're looking for that situation again. Everyone. So that's evidence that we are Satchidananda. One evidence. A logical evidence. Why is everyone looking for that? Comfort and happiness. A good situation and happiness. That's the material life. That's all they're looking for. That everyone's looking for it means that there should be an existence like that, where there is perfect peace, perfect satisfaction, and perfect happiness. Otherwise, every single moving, living entity is striving for those two things. Logic. You can't prove it. You can't prove the existence of the soul. You can't prove the existence of God. It's like it says here, like the demigods will say, there's so many philosophers and logicians, they're arguing against what is right and what is wrong, and nobody knows. And they're finding contradictions in the scripture. What is right? They don't know. Even they don't know. They're confused. All the contradictions can be resolved in you, Krishna. Krishna himself, in his person, he can resolve all these contradictions. Because he's both a person and he's both impersonal. He's spiritual energy and he's material energy. Ham Sarvasya Prabhava. He's everything. He's everything. That is why you see the atheists, when they attack the Christians, they attack the Buddhists, they attack the Muslims, they never attack the Hindus. They can't. Because Hindus got everything covered. You got the 6 philosophers, you got atheistic philosophers. Karma Mimamsa, you got Kapila, atomic theory, you got all it's so bewildering, they don't know what, because Hinduism is such a vast, or what's called Hinduism, coming from the Vedas, everything is there. Monism is there, and nothing is there also. So they can't get that, the atheists. So all the contradictions can be resolved in Krishna, because he's the source of everything. From me come intelligence, remembrance and forgetfulness. So Krishna, he gives what you can remember and what you forget, that's Krishna. What he allows you to remember, what he makes you forget, that's Krishna. It's his intelligence. He's giving you, supplying you that intelligence. It's his intelligence. Earth, water, fire, air, sky, mind, intelligence, ankara. They're my energies. He's supplying those as much as he wants, and he's withholding as much as he wants. We have a question from Vishwarup Das. Not this one. Not this one here. Sometimes we get difficulty. We think that Krishna knows everything and he will always help us in the right thing. Krishna knows everything and will always help us. He does know everything and he will always help us in his own time and his own way. We have to be patient. We cannot demand. He's a person. Gita Nagari, conclusion. You had something to say? Okay, we'll end on a light note.
You said that you wake up with the body and the first thing you say is Hare Krishna. So you make Krishna conscious. I wake up and the first thing I say is God get me out of this bed. God get me out of this bed. Please,
But both remembering Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I go from